All right, that's what we have for you.
Thank you very much. I know that we're supposed to call for an adoption of the resolution, but that's finalizing the logo, and I don't know that we are at that point right now to finalize that logo. Can we have some public comment on this first?
Yes, we do. Jason Zink is going to be speaking on 2 items in that section, 9.1 and 9.2.
I had to fill out a lot of cards because,
He'll be speaking
Okay.
for.
yeah, because you guys don't know how to run a city, so I have to help you. Like the city attorney didn't know that public comment comes after you, the staff gives a report. It's just mind-blowing, mind-boggling. Twilight Zone. The logo that you guys are wanting to approve looks like something from New Mexico. It doesn't look like something from Southern California. It doesn't look fun and hip and awesome. What's the lifeblood of Antelope Valley, and what has it been? What would happen if it went away? Palmdale and Antelope Valley would collapse, and that is aerospace. So why wasn't that put in the logo? Our old logo looks very prestigious, I have to say. I thought it should have had a swoosh and a little jet plane in the blue part in the sky. It looks like something like for a school district or something, not something for a prestigious, cutting-edge aerospace city, which is the future. You know, we're the last frontier of LA County. We're the new California for the affordable middle class. That logo that you want to approve today does not say anything where I'd want to invest $1 in. We deserve better. I don't know what you guys are thinking or why you even think you need to change the logo, but I guess you like spending money on silly things.
No further speaker cards on this section.
Good evening. So first and foremost, how many of you are here from Palmdale? Raise your hand if you live here in Palmdale. The fact that you guys outsourced this project to people who don't live in this community, which I know for a fact we have companies in this community that could have created this. They would not have had to sit for an hour. No offense to you guys, I apologize. Would have not had to sit with this person for an hour or this person for an hour. They have their finger on the pulse of this community. And they would have come up with something that represents this community. I moved here when I was in 4th grade. I moved here because my dad retired from the Air Force from McClellan Air Force Base in Sacramento. And we moved here because my dad worked for Lockheed. We fought amongst ourselves. My dad's plane flew. He was the F-117. My friend's plane didn't fly, the B-2 at the time. We are this community. Why would you ask somebody else to try and brand this community? I have an issue with that. That doesn't represent anything from this community. It doesn't represent the high schools that are here, the elementary schools, the middle schools, the economic aspect of this community, the family aspect of this community. We are small, but we are great. And why would you bring an outside company to brand something that does not represent us? You guys should rethink that. Thank you.
So it's Michael Ross again. I did marketing just like that for many years, and I know you've got a background in it too. No offense against your work, it's fine work, but one of the first rules of marketing is you decide what it is that sets you aside from all your other competitors. And out here, the number one thing that we have is the Joshua tree. And I do like the Joshua tree aspect. I don't think it represents it very well. I agree with you. I don't think that you're ready to vote on any of those yet. But I would ask that you put together a committee separate of, I was a part of the thing years ago called the Village Square that Ann Ambrose put on. There were 30 of us that got together, and we read different articles and things about the city and talked about how we wanted our city represented. And I will tell you, the number one thing that they that everybody locked in on was the idea of the Joshua tree and really using that. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are companies, I'm sure you are in the film industry, there are companies that come from all over the world to come and shoot music videos with the Joshua trees in the background. That makes us very hip and cool. I mean, K-pop is using our tracks and the Joshua tree. So I would just suggest you look more toward that.
Thank you. Any other speakers? All right, we'll be closing public comment. Now, could we have some council discussion on this?
I'll jump in.
Jump on in there.
Okay, so a lot of the comments that we received here today are very similar, if not exactly the same, of what was discussed in my briefing last week about the logo. I remember even some of the people who commented talked about, what's this? What's this right here? A couple years ago, we discussed what this was, and nobody knew what it was, and it was the yucca plant.
Yeah, most people think it's a corn cob and a wave,
Yeah.
which it is not.
So I was very passionate about, with some of the discussions we had, and we're not set yet, is maybe putting the Joshua tree inside this logo and updating it. But then we discussed about maybe a new brand altogether. So we were leaning towards that third logo you saw with the Joshua tree, but I wasn't crazy about the Joshua tree. It was a little abstract, and then the angles were weird. And we actually talked about having the B-2 bomber and the Joshua tree with the hillside in there. So I'm not totally sold on any of those logos. That's what I discussed with the branding company. I think that third one, with the right revisions and the right edits, it could be there. It could be close. It could give us a new brand. But I think the new logo and rebranding was brought upon a few meetings where people came and they said they didn't understand exactly what the logo was. I'm still a huge fan of it. If you see me, I don't leave the community without this pin. And I think it's still a very nice looking logo. But every now and then it's important to refresh and update. And I was very passionate about getting something with the Joshua tree and something that represented aerospace and the skyline in the Antelope Valley. And that was the direction I gave the Hub Collective. And I'm not ready to approve anything tonight, but I think maybe with that third logo that had positive response from the community, I think maybe we could get there.
So I just want to apologize to you again. I was brutal during our closed session, but it matters deeply to us because that's one of the reasons that we have postponed buying the new street signs, because they will have our logo on it when we get to that, plus business cards and letterheads and wraps and that type of thing. So it has to be right. I think the last time we did this was over 20 years ago? 2002? So what we pick for this matters because it's going to be here for maybe a quarter of a century, who knows? So I want to apologize. I wasn't criticizing anybody personally. I just really, it needs work. So we just need to keep working.
Yeah, so I just want to echo my colleagues' remarks. I too had some sort of, I think, pretty terse conversation with our consultants about my expectations of what this project and this endeavor was going to include. I was specifically concerned with what I saw as a lack of tapping into our local talent. Specifically, our high school talent. We've got a lot of graphic artists locally. Our high school kids, we've got some student organizations and some teachers and some local folks in our community colleges and just in our entire Antelope Valley that we could tap into that we have not. I used as the reference our Measure AV utility box wrap effort. So we had a couple, I think we had like 6 or 7 different pieces of art that we then wrapped all of the utility boxes with, but we selected those as a city, and we didn't get feedback from our residents, and we didn't sort of invite their ideas, their art into what we then put out into the city. And so in our second round, we initiated art contests, and we selected some local elementary school kids' artwork to then be put onto those wraps. And we got a lot more positive feedback because we utilized the talent of our local folks here. So what I was hoping to do, and I think we're all sort of on the same page that we're not quite there yet, but what I was hoping to do is, as we direct our partner here moving forward, is that we ask for input and for actual designs from the community, from our high school talent, from our community college students, and from all of the local graphic artists that are out there, and including marketing talent, because there's also a tagline on there, and so we might want some feedback there. Rather than us giving you guys 3 options and say, pick one of the 3, I would like to see what the community comes up with, and you know, we're all fairly innovative, and I think we're gonna be blown away if we open up the doors of opportunity for you all to give us your ideas in terms of the art and the tagline that we propose to use for the city. So maybe we move forward and we do, you know, implement a high school student art contest, or a local, some sort of incentive program, or other way to invite people to submit their artwork in. I think that we should try to incorporate that kind of responsive communication, as opposed to us just sort of stuffing it down everybody's throat. I think what we hear all the time is that you guys want to be participant in the development of the process, not just voting on 1, 2, or 3. And so I would hope that you guys hear that feedback, and as we move forward in the next couple of months, that we sort of develop some sort of means by which we can bring in the ideas from our community.
I'd like to ask a question, and I don't know who's going to respond to it, maybe Mr. Mendez. How much have we spent so far in the development of this new identity?
So the agreement was executed for $100,000, and we are near $80,000.
$100,000, okay.
Correct.
And we're proposing to spend an additional $500,000 to implement it?
That is money that was approved through the
Sorry, what?
budget. That was money, the $500,000 that you're referring to was approved through the budget process. As this, if it were to be approved, that would be money that would be allocated towards updating assets as they needed.
That's what I'm saying. So we spent $100,000 so far to develop it,
Correct.
and then $500,000 more to implement it, right?
That's what's
already
been approved in the
okay.
budget.
So
So-
that would, I'm sorry, go ahead. I
Yeah,
apologize.
thank you. Well, to me, the Joshua Tree looks kind of like, you know, spurs on a horse type of thing, you know? There are many cities, counties, states, and even the United States of America and nations around the world adopt a symbol for themselves that has enduring value. They don't go changing it every 25 years, right? And this logo replaced a logo that existed before that one, that I thought back at the time was pretty good. And then this one, I think, I do agree with Mr. Bishop that this does have, the logo that we have currently is something that is enduring and has been the symbol of Palmdale for, you know, for many years.
Correct, sir.
And so we've gone and spent all this money and consulted with a couple of hundred people and did a survey that was very limited. And we've come up with this that it seems like no one's in agreement with what's been presented. It almost seems like it's been a waste of money, right? So sometimes, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Might apply here. And so I'm not prepared to accept this. The other point that I'm making is all of this presentation that was given up here is not in our staff report. You know, that wasn't available for any of us to look at. You know, all the different
Correct.
things
That-
and the different polls and what have you. Why not?
That was the vendor's presentation as far as their findings. The staff report has the final, what the recommended final logo and tagline would be that would match the resolution that was proposed for adoption.
Okay. But it would have been nice to have this information before tonight so we could have a more intelligent view and basis to make a decision. But anyway, thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you.
And just of note, the presentation was presented at our briefings.
Okay.
Me now?
Your turn?
I think we need to get our trains on the tracks before we paint them. We have a lot to do in this city, and it bothers me that this has to take up time in what we're doing because there's so many more important things, I believe. 500,000 is what we allocated in the budget. I believe the implementation is going to be a whole lot more to replace all the street signs, everything that's gone up. And I'm not too keen on wanting to take on that financial investment at this moment in Palmdale's history. I think we have a lot of other things to do to get right. Then let's take a look at this. But we've already got this contract. I think the money probably would have been better spent explaining to people what that symbol is and the current logo that we have. It's a yucca palm. It's the growth that happens before the Joshua tree. And that's where we're at. We're the growth that's happening now before we get that tree. I think Palmdale's in a great spot. Good things are coming. Let's brand then. Let's just go get those good things first. I don't like this. I think the logos missed the mark. I'm sorry. A lot of work to do to get me to support any of this because I agree with Councilmember Lowe, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
May I have a quick suggestion real quick? If we don't have the buy-in and we want to make a subtle change, one of my ideas I was pushing for a very long time was to replace the yucca with the Joshua tree, and it would be a very smooth transition for the city that might not cost a whole lot. It's a subtle change.
Just cut your losses. Just cut the losses.
Right,
Because
so,
we've had people in the community tell us, including some of the people who commented tonight, they don't know what's inside the logo. So I think that's where this idea came from, and so.
so can
That's
I
all.
just ask a city manager to just sort of outline for us exactly where we are in the process in terms of the contract? I believe it expires in September, and how much, there is in the balance of what's been appropriated for that contract. If we choose, do we have the option to either extend or to terminate the contract? What are our options?
It depends. There's about $20,000 left in the contract right now as we speak. We can always extend the contract beyond the date, but an additional allocation would be needed depending on how much change you would want or how much additional outreach you would need. We may require an additional allocation to that, an amendment to the contract.
So can I ask a question? So this was put out with an RFP,
Correct.
and so they're the ones that came in with the best price from,
Were there any local applicants that bid?
none?
No.
Nobody knew to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know of a graphic designer firsthand that probably would have jumped on this opportunity to do this. Who lives here? A lot.
We were never even told that there was going to be this discussion.
I also know one also.
Okay, so I guess we're going to, you want to table the item? You want to vote on the item?
No, I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
Let's call for the vote.
Well, we can table it, but we've got to give, I think it's incumbent upon us to give direction to our city manager on what we're going to do. We're going to let this contract linger? Are we going to invite the public into the to the fold and into the development? Or what are we going to do? Are we going to bring this back, in 2
Madam
weeks?
Chair.
Are we going to give further direction to our consultant what are we going to do? Tabling it, I don't know if that is fair to our city manager, we're just going to let it linger?
Madam Chair, members of the council, what I'm getting here, and for what I'm hearing from the community is, 2 heads are better than 1, 3 heads are better than 2. We have the contract with the current consultant. We can expand on that contract, reach out to schools. We can expand on the 3rd logo, reach out to schools. We can revisit the taglines and include other people in the final decision-making of this process.
So you mean to extend the contract with them and then to bring in other community groups? I guess I'm a little confused.
To either extend the contract or to utilize it till its expiration in September to utilize the balance of the $20,000 that it remains in the appropriation.
We would have to have separate conversations with the contractor and see what we can do with that,
The balance of the,
And get back to you, and we can address this again.
okay, so maybe that be the motion, if I could, just a friendly amendment or suggestion, that we request a report back from the city manager, an assessment of the current financial date of the consultant's contract and what, within the scope of the remainder of the term that we could do with whatever balance is left and the time. And then we get a report back so we can decide whether or not we want to terminate the contract, move forward, extend it, appropriate more.
The contract conditional on the product produced.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that motion, and it gives us time to think about this, because I know we're not ready to make any decisions tonight.
Okay, so the motion is for a report back.
Okay, so we're going to request a report back? Okay, let's do
A
that.
report back on assessment of the contract, its scope, time, and money.
So do we have a motion and a second?
One moment. Yes, we do. We have a motion in a
Are we,
second.
no further discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lloyd, did you want to speak
Well,
more?
it just seems to me that this is just going to be an exercise in futility. I mean, it's just not there. And for us to continue, it's not going to take us anywhere. I mean, we've got a suggestion from Councilman Bishop here that seems very logical and probably wouldn't cost very much money. So I'm going to vote no on continuing this matter.
If I could also just ask for, can we get, we don't have a copy of the actual contractor's contract. Can we get an analysis of the termination provisions? If there are, damages provisions, if we terminate early? I just want to know what the ramifications are if we just end the contract right now.